Hello, everyone. So there's this tweet that Mr. Peter Obi did, and it was really very, should I call it heartbreaking, sobering? It just tells us of what Nigeria as a country is all about. So he said, according to Mr. Peter Obi, his two assignments in Osuka, Enugu State on Wednesday, as significant as they were, got consumed in my chance but emotional encounter with an old friend and university mate, now a professor in the institution. So of course he met this, old classmate. He said, my first mission in Usuka was for two important events. First was to visit and assess a dilapidated health center, and second to campaign for one of the federal legislators, Honorable Dennis Agbo, contested to represent Udenu slash Igbo Eze North Federal Constituency in the forthcoming by-elections on Saturday. He said, I believe this legislator is committed to the good of his people, but while in Nsukka, I met one of those brilliant fellows I knew while I was a student at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka in the 80s. The fellow graduated with a first class and became a lecturer in the institution. When I later visited the university as the then governor of Anambra State, he proudly announced to me that he was already a professor, and I rejoiced with him. I met him again in Nsukka on Wednesday, but our exchange of pleasantries resulted in a very pathetic tale about his general welfare. I noticed in his look and mien that all his happiness of being a professor had vanished. He began his story by telling me that he felt he wasted all his years lecturing. He dragged his pitiful story into his current remuneration as a professor. According to him, his salary as at January 31st, 2010, which is 14 years ago, remained the same to date, having reached the pinnacle of his career. And the thing to look at is that the cost of forex in 2010 is different from the cost of forex today. It's like times 10 the cost of forex today. So what even that his salary could buy for him, he has to buy only 1/10 of what he could buy for him in that time. He said the only significant difference is that while the money was worth something in 2010, today the same amount is worth nothing. The professor recalled how he was able to buy a Toyota Corolla from his savings, something that is not possible again today. I asked for his salary today. He said about 400,000. 400,000 naira is what you pay a professor. And then meanwhile, you are paying legislators that are not doing anything so many millions of naira. A professor is collecting this amount of money. Then how much is a lecturer collecting? How much is a teacher in a public school collecting? And we want to have a country that works when we're not taking care of the educational sector and the people that are in the educational sector. It broke my heart when he requested that I put in a word for him so that Honorable Dennis Agbo can appoint him as a special advisor when he wins. Can you imagine? A professor, wanting to be special advisor. Just imagine. Because then a special advisor earns more than a professor. Yeah, the salary of a special advisor is more than a professor. Wow. The reason for the bizarre request that shocked me was that he would earn more and receive more perks as an SA than as a professor. Touched by this and applying my finance background, I decided to do some comparative analysis. By January 31st, 2010, the salary of a Nigerian university professor was about 400,000. With the then prevalent exchange rate of 150,000 per dollar, the salary amounted to $2,665,000. 14 years later, on January 31st, 2024, the salary of a professor remains about 400,000 naira, With the prevailing exchange rate of 1,510 naira per dollar, the same salary now amounts to about $265. Wow. And then you have some people will be living abroad and they will be defending the nonsense that government is doing to us here in Nigeria. Can you imagine that? Hey. So after putting in 40 years of hard work, having attained the zenith of his academic career, a Nigerian university professor now earns 10% of what he earned 14 years ago. That is only possible in Nigeria. A few years ago, a Toyota Corolla cost 4.8 million. So his annual salary without any expenditure on other items amounting to about 4.8 could buy a Toyota Corolla. Today, the same Toyota Corolla costs about 52 million, which is more than 10 years of his salary without expenditure to be able to buy one after having attained the highest point one can achieve in academia. First class brain. Considering the critical role education plays in the development of a nation and the low human development index HDI we are currently at, we require as many hands and a committed workforce as we can get in that sector. But can we get such when any of our professors are going backward relatively? Sadly, we are in the same country where the government can use an amount enough to buy 3 Toyota Corollas to buy personal SUVs for the legislators, whose annual earnings amount to several times that of the university professor, and can now afford to pay the professor more than he can earn from lecturing in the premier university in Nigeria. And we wonder why people are killing to get into our offices. Imagine. Legislator earns more, not only earns more, even their own SA, special advisor and all of that, earn more than a professor, and we want a country that works. How does one then remain earnestly committed to contributing to the critical development of the nation? My campaign, therefore, is to dismantle this criminality and create a functional society where people's talents, efforts, and sacrifices will match up with the opportunities in life. We can reverse this negative trend and build a fairer society. A new and different nation is possible. Signed, P.O. Peter Obi. I know some of the comments that came under that, it's really, it just breaks your heart. This one said, Obinna Ogu said, that is why a professor can't resist 100 million naira bribe when they are made electoral returning officer. Poverty is a big tool. That's why they don't want us to get better. Omo, see how you broke down simple economics for us. Yeah, people overlook this and did nonsense during the election. It's just sad, when you look at these things all the time. But one of the things that I'll keep saying, and I can say it to you today also, don't give up. Giving up can never be an option. We will fight for this Nigeria and get the country where the child of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody. Where a professor will not need anyone to, on his behalf, beg someone that wants to get into legislative, as a legislator, to beg for special assistant job. Nigeria was well for everyone, and every Nigerian must enjoy the goodness that is in Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget, subscribe, share, like, and you can also press the notification button so that you get notified when videos are posted. Thank you and bye.